All right. Good morning, afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. I'm sorry I'm a couple minutes late, but I'm glad you didn't start without me. That's so nice of you. Let me start a new day. Hey, Jono, look at what Jono's waving. He's waving his metal detector. The security guard today. That's what I've been asked going through security at the airport. Like, is that a metal detector? Like, yeah, it's to measure Wi-Fi. It detects Wi-Fi. Like, oh, that's one thing going through security with all these tools that we carry for Wi-Fi. That these are things that people don't regularly see, in anybody's toolkit. So we get used to just being ready, and that's what I was working on last night. Well, several days. Moving my network in a kit box, putting all the switches and stuff in there. We have completed Hamina. Well, not entirely, because we will come back to the design portion. Today is Thursday, August 13th of 2026. This is session 373 of Tesos and Wi-Fi. This is another one of the classes, part of the free, 100% free, 98% in English, Wireless LAN Professionals Wi-Fi Design class. Brought to you live. Well, live if you're here. If you're watching this later, it's not going to be live, but it's still going to be free. So we'll get started with SIDOS system. Well, we ended up with Hamina in these several previous sessions. Just make sure I share my screen, and let me make sure that I also get you.
Your video's funny, Ferney.
What was that?
Your video camera is not right.
Oh, it's not. Well, I apologize.
We can see your lovely face now.
See how that feels when I'm not showing my beautiful face? That's how I feel when you don't show me your beautiful faces. See? Now it's better, huh? I don't know how people can like conduct trainings and have meetings with their cameras off. I've been to several meetings and there's like not a single camera. And my rule is I always keep my camera on, except when I don't. And some generous person's kind enough to tell me like, hey, your camera's not on. Thank you very much, Jono. Let me make sure I do have licenses for you guys for SIDOS. SIDOS. Let me make sure I have this license. Okay, let's see. And I think this one I can share online. I wonder if whoever wants to use SIDOS and follow along later the recording, you will be able, let me see too. Oh, I actually have a link. Hang on one second. Let me see if this link takes me where I need to go. Okay, let me share a link with you in the chat. So yeah, it's gonna be for you guys here present. It's gonna give you a 30-day license for SIDOS. Let me paste in here for everybody. Okay, it's in the chat now. Go ahead and click on it. Fill it in. I think it's just like 3 fields, like name, email, and then let me know if you then get a 30-day license. Let me see. Tools. And Jono, class in Manchester. The troubleshooting class is going to be at the University of Manchester. Okay.
Right.
So you start planning your trip and hotels.
Yep.
I will send an email to all the ones that have registered so far.
Yep. Thank you.
We're going to have another class in the New York area. If you're in that side of the country and you want to attend the wireless LAN professionals Wi-Fi troubleshooting class, we have a class Monday the 17th and Tuesday the 18th of August, which is next week in 4 days in New Haven, right there with Yale University. So that's where we're going to have the class. Okay, let me get to SIDOS. Simon, go ahead.
Hey, Ferney. Yeah, just while you still have the Hamina on your screen, just
not anymore.
the question.
Too late.
Oh, too late, darn it. Okay. I was just going to ask about the warehouse, floor plan, where you have the ground level, you have a mezzanine warehouse with mezzanine office, but then the floor plans you're given is just the ground level is a full floor plan, but then for the mezzanine level, it's just that small little strip of floor area of the floor plan. So how you yeah.
I've had that happen that they give you what he's asking is if I go to a warehouse, let's see. Sometimes they have like the first floor has a lot of stuff. And let's say if there's a second floor, let's say the second floor is just this area. So I give you another small floor plan. So what you do is you import the big plan and then you import the small plan. Actually, we could probably do this. Watch. Let me see if I just get a screenshot of this. Let's say here. I just say we're going to make this a second floor plan, okay? So we have this as the main floor plan. Let's add. And Jerry said that I could just drag that file in here. Let me just see if uploading maps. Man, that's really cool. I just drag it in there and it's uploading the map. Okay, so now I have this floor plan and I have this one. Let me make this floor 2 offices. Floor 2 offices. Okay, so I renamed that floor plan. Now I create the building. The first floor then is going to be this guy. Okay. The second floor, I'm going to put on top of that guy. But yeah, see, one is huge. The other one is just the office. So very straightforward. What I do is I just resize this to fit on the area that only a second floor exists. This is going to be the exact same thing for the okay, let me see. Let me line this up. Where are my eyes, Simon?
You can line the circles. It will be easier.
What was that?
The 2 circles, if you line the 2 circles.
If I line
the 2 circles.
Oh, like the circle, these guys here. Let me just grab like these guys right here. And then let's see, try to stretch this guy out like that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so now if I do hit construct building here, right? Oh no, that's when you want to do it automatically. Don't touch that button, right? Is that what we learned, Glenn? Don't touch that button because that's gonna probably mess things up. So now that it's lined up, let's go to 3D. Holy smokes, isn't this cool? So let's see. Of course, there's a lot of that needs to be done. It's not perfect that it's gonna do the entire thing for you. That's what I experienced with the big convention center, but it gets you there, it gets you started. We are on the lower floor, and now if we go to the second floor, it did a better job. And this, look at this. Now, if I go to sandwich these guys, oh man, isn't that cool? Look at that. I mean, yeah, there's still work that needs to be done here, but one thing I could do, since it did a better job on the top one, I can just copy paste that stuff and, you know, go to the first floor and replicate it really quick. But then now I just added, see, this warehouse, lower floor, and then here's the upper floor. And that's the same thing you would do in an office. Did that address your concern, or Simon? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right. I'll send you a bill later. Hey, that's consulting, man. Thank you for bringing that up. See, we spent like a whole week in Hamina. I didn't cover that. So thanks for bringing that up. And you know what happened? Simon was going to keep it to himself. He asked me after we were done with the recording yesterday. And I told him, like, why are you asking now? Why didn't you ask in class so we could let everybody know about it? So I'm glad you did, because now it is recorded, and now you know how to add when you, and this is the exact same thing that happens in warehouses. Like, I think we were just here. Where's this is not the place, but let's go to a warehouse where we had some pictures to show that. See, here in Santo Domingo, and that would be doing this area. So you have they give you one floor plan. Sometimes they just give you one floor plan, and then it's like, and there are these offices stuck on top of each other. Or like what Jerry showed yesterday, that you get the racks in the middle, and that would be like this area over there. I probably have a better picture here. Hang on. Because what he was showing us yesterday was, let's see, kind of like this area. Uh-oh, I think power went out. If I lose you guys, let me know. So I think a UPS just beeped. See, there are the racks over there that go all the way to the ceiling, and this is a multi-floor area. There's one floor there, there's another floor there, another floor, and a fourth floor within one. So this will be a good example of what we did yesterday. Well, what he taught us yesterday was just having one floor that is really tall and the other floors in between that big floor. So this would be another way that if they just give you one set of floor plans, then, or they just give you this in a small floor plan, you're just lining up on top of each other inside the big area. Glenn.
Yeah, I've had this a couple of times where they gave separate small floor plans, but meaning that you had one big ground floor, but then different plans for the stages on top of it. And it's quite easy if it's just one part, or if they are all together on one other big floor plan. But if you have, let's say, the second floor, two different plans, that's no way, as far as I know at the moment, of importing them in the solutions I used. Have you come across one that actually does that? That you can just say, I import two floor plans, and two floor plans are on the same level?
So that'll be like, oh, like side to side, not.
Yes. So like the one you imported now in the Hamina project, where you have the offices with the first floor. Imagine that you have somewhere else on the plan also a building with a second floor that you need to add, and you only have a separate image of that. So up to now, I've tried then to put those two floor plans in the same plan to put it on top of the other ones. But that's quite hard. Would be easier if you could just take a plan, say this is like with the points in Eckhout, you say this plan has point 1, 2, plop, it goes on 1 and 2. This has and 3 and 4 on 3 and 4 there, and then it's done.
The alignment, the floor alignment points.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of like what we do in here. It's just that we get it more visual that this will be the floor alignment points.
Yeah.
You just get it.
But imagine that you have the one in black that you've done now, but that also like the one where your mouse was now on the left top corner, that you have a separate plan of that one as well. So it would be cool if you could paste that one on top of that one now within the same floor.
Oh,
understand
okay.
what I mean?
Yeah. I guess you could, because we just designing as we did yesterday. You just bring that other floor plan, right? And then you would put it,
I assume that it then thinks that there's a floor of 2.5 meters in between where nothing sits.
Yeah, you'll have to just play with heights of things as we did with the first round at the stadium, right? Or, you know, I had to do that in multiple times. They gave me those floor plans. I use this tool called Photopea or Photopea. Where is it? Right there. This guy. And then let me just open. I don't know, maybe that image I just got in. That guy. So in here, you can just create a big canvas and then put the images side by side. Like if I get, let's say this is one floor plan, and let me go back to my.
No, I did that now, like in Paint.net, where you then take the ground floor as one layer and then paste the other ones on a second layer to move them a bit around to see where they are, so that it roughly matches. But would be cool if you could just do that in the
just
the interface itself.
And I had that many times, that they give you a multi-building campus, that you have multiple floor plans, and these are all buildings that are side to side. So to do a prediction, I just had to do here, and then you just come and go to image and canvas size, and let's make this guy, let's say 3,000 by 3,000. So now a floor plan is there. Let me just move this guy to the side. Then I can just now bring the other image, open. Let's open the other screenshot. And then I'm gonna Control X this guy and Control V that guy over here. Uh-oh, there you go. So Control C and Control V. And now I can just bring this floor plan, put it next to it. Where do they line up? Here, maybe? Okay, and then now I'll have this in the same level, and then I'll just export this or change the size. And sometimes just time of, you know, playing with this stuff. But I can see if let's say I flatten this image, if I go to image and flatten this guy, where do I flatten this? Well, I guess if I right click here and flatten image, now I have the image right there. Of course, I'll be more precise. Well, I think that's precise enough, isn't it? And then this will be my floor plan. I can just export this as PNG or JPEG or PDF, whatever you want to export this as. And now it's just one floor plan in one level. That happens sometimes, that they give you. I've received floor plans in Excel, like just boxes. They're not to scale. They're not, you know, they don't have doors. They don't have anything. So I've had many times to go to Google Maps also to at least get the shell of the building and get the scale. Because if I don't have a scale, going to Google Maps, for instance, is one of the things that, you know, if let's say this is the building I need, let's say that Costco right there, and that's a warehouse, and that's all I have, then I'll come here, and if I, let's say, right click on this corner and measure distance, and then go and right click and then click on this corner, it'll just give me a straight line from those 2 points. And it says that is for 137 meters, 138 meters. So sometimes that's what I use for scale, and sometimes that's what I use for at least the outside of the building. Okay. But this one, yeah, I had to do also because sometimes they just give you the whole floor plan of the warehouse. And then they give you a big floor plan for the first one, and then tiny maps, just an individual map. That's how you line it up and stretch it out in a way that it's like, oh, this is what's on top of that. And now you have a building. We go to 3D. And we can just create the building. All right. Thank you, Simon. We'll come back to Hamina because we'll be doing surveys later, and then we'll use all the tools. Remember, we also cover creating the reports, PDF, and sharing those links with customers. Or if I have like another person that has a Hamina account, I can just come here to this button and share that, and I'll be sharing the project with that person. So they will have access to the project and they can work on it. You can have the multiple people working on a design or multiple people working on the on a survey. So that's another way to share. Let me make sure that my audio is good. Microphone, here we go. All right. SIDOS, did you guys create the account okay? SIDOS systems? Yes.
I filled the form, but I haven't received an email.
Yep, same here.
Oh. So has anybody received the email yet? Simon, you still have a question, or you just forgot to lower your hand? Put it down, man. It's going to turn blue. There we go.
Sorry.
You gotta, okay. If that then does not work, let me get you a username and a password then. How many people? Let's see. Let's try this. Let me pause the recording. I'm going to assign these usernames and passwords, okay? Then remind me before we continue to continue recording. All right, after a pause, trying to figure out the accounts to let everybody in, we're back. So once you have the account, let me just, they've changed the interface a little bit. So you'll just go in and you're probably going to have a blank page, huh? Like says like new site. That's about it. Okay. So all of these are projects I've created. Some are that I've used in class. Some others are just customer projects. Some are design. Some are surveys. We will get to all of them later. But for now, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to new site. In here, when you first click on it and select, okay, what do you want? I have not used Deep Survey before, so I am sure I will be learning also what content can be viewed. What do you mean, Luke? What content can I be viewed?
I think you were trying to share the floor plan and I couldn't, yeah, all I'm seeing is this content can be viewed here in the chat.
I put them all in the chat. All the floor plans, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So you cannot see it?
No, I can't see it.
Who else cannot get the floor plans? Are you in a corporate computer? Maybe if you have a company computer, you have restrictions on downloading files.
Luke, I'll send them to you. I've got them here.
Thank you.
Hidden, the website crashed.
Again, so application not rendered.
Don't worry, I think I got it now.
Oh, okay. So once you get the project, you say new site. It said like, what do you want to do? So we'll talk about AP on a stick later, because with everybody we can do that. What we're going to be doing is working on design. We can do surveys as well, but for now, for this new site, is going to be a design site. So this one, let's call this Tesos English. That's the site. If you want to add an address, it's not mandatory. If you want to just keep track of addresses for different projects, that comes in handy. First thing, same as we did in Hamina, we have to upload floor plans. They've added instructions in pretty much every page where you are. Just click the upload floor plans, select your floor plan image, select the scale, and done editing. One thing they're not listing here is that it requires a height. So let me just click in this guy. Let me go to maps. I'll use this guy and go to, I'm just gonna open office floor 01. Notice that the first thing, even before the scale, it asks like, how high is the ceiling? Okay, like the height of this floor from the ground to the ceiling. This is extremely important because, and I haven't designed a lot of stuff with, I mean, I've done a couple huge projects with SIDOS. And if things have changed, then we'll figure it out. But this is critical because if you say, let's say this is 3 meters high, I mean, not 3 feet. Let me just put 3 and change this from feet. Come on, come on. Oh, they should change here. Let me add this to the notes and let these guys know that the height of the floor, that's something funky. Because this should allow me to just drop down and change from meters to feet. But it says that this is, I just delete that height. Let me just click on it and let's just say this is, come on.
You've deleted the whole floor.
Yeah. Okay, let me just refresh this. And then let's make this 8 feet. We'll change the scale, but it should just let me change the unit right here. So now that I have the floor plan and I define the height of the floor, then I'm going to set the scale. To set the scale, I'll start by clicking a position, hold Control to snap to fixed angles. That's new. If I click here, one click, I don't have to drag the mouse because then I drag the whole map, which is useful because right now if I click and drag, I can come to other areas without not setting the scale yet. So I'll just move it. I can zoom in, zoom out. But if I come over here to this other side of the building, that right there, you click, that's 14 meters. But it's asking in feet. Let me see if I can change those settings right here, right now. If you go to the little man on the upper right corner, that's when you switch from feet to meters, okay? It should let me come in here and just click on the drop down and change it from one to the other. Mark, thank you. So if we're on feet, that will be 46 feet. But since I already showed you right here on the upper right corner where the little man is, you switch from feet to meters, and I'm on meters right now. So let's come back here and set the scale. And this from here, there, let me just click again, click here, cancel this guy. If I click here to there, that's 14 meters and save. Same as with Hamina. Once in the floor plan, you just go to coverage in here. You set the scale, and for you, this is an office, that's the door, that's a conference room. This is for the software. This is absolutely nothing. It's just pixels on the screen. It's a bitmap. And what it does when you give it a scale, that you say from here to there is 14 meters. So it goes, it measures all the pixels in this floor plan. So like, well, if there's this many pixels is 14 meters, it goes down to and creates a pixels per meter unit. Now, the one thing I can do is like, if I have the mouse right here and hold my shift key, wherever I go, see, it just tells me that's 39 meters. That's 19 meters. I'm holding the shift key down. That's how I get the scale. This is really cool because this is something I cannot do on another one. Now, let me just give you some ideas in here is when we are placing access points, if you want to see how far an access point goes, then this is spectacular because I need to measure this. And a lot of the things in here, they're going to have my signatures on it because these are things I wanted. These are things I needed. This of measuring like distance on anything, anywhere. I requested that last year and they gave that to me. That's great because when you are doing something like in here, let me just switch to 2D. And let me just actually bring a different one. Let's just use the new project we were using previously. And let me go over to here. If I select one access point, and let me switch to primary signal. There we go. If I want to measure, watch this. If I want to measure, let's say, and see how far this AP goes, and I want to measure the distance like from here, there, to show my customer, look, that AP, placed here, covers all the way there and is this many meters. If I switch to scale, now that access point gets unselected. If I try to select that access point, I'm on the scale tool, so it's like, okay, what's the scale? What's the scale? Like, no, I want to see the distance that this guy covers, like from here all the way there. So now I'm going to have to kind of like figure out this access point and go to the scale and measure from here, there. So it's kind of like complicated to get distances. Same thing for a survey. Sometimes you want to show a customer like, look, this AP in there is only covering like 5 meters. Then you want to measure that distance. In here, it's hard. In SIDOS, if I were to place an access point, then I can just measure just wherever you are. You don't have to click or anything. If I'm right here and I hold the shift key and move the mouse, I'm just moving the mouse. I'm not clicking or right clicking or nothing. It's just like moving. It tells me from where I was till now, this is the distance. This is an extremely useful feature. So I imported the plan, the floor plan. I gave it the height of the floor. I gave it the scale. That's it. Now I stop. Your turn. Go ahead. Import that. Now, who is still missing an account? Let me look at the spreadsheet we created. Look like Saur, Mauro, Hiten, Guillermo, Edward, Sastiamurthy. Man, I probably massacred your name there. And Walter Nacimiento. Then let me see if we have accounts for you guys already. Saur, try student 31. Let's see if those accounts have been created. Okay. For those of you who have an account, go ahead, import the floor plan, give it a height, give it a name, give it a scale.
Hey, Ferney.
Yes, that's well, I guess that should be the same password. Let me ask. All class 2025 exclamation. Okay. So if student 31 is not working, probably the accounts haven't been created yet. So hang in there. Then let me now show you around, okay? How is it that we navigate through this interface? Yes, we spend the whole previous week. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck at a place. I don't know how I got here. It's a run channel planner. So I got the map imported. I scaled it, height. It looks like the next screen popped me over here to run channel planner. It gives me the 3 bands, but I can't really do anything from this point. Any ideas?
I don't even know where you are. You want to share your screen?
Sure. I'm terrible with sharing.
You can click overview at the top and select coverage.
Right next to the date. Yep.
Okay. Oh, sweet. Thank you very much. That's it.
Now, if you wait until I show you the interface, maybe it'll be easier for you to navigate.
Sorry.
You're good. You're just too excited trying a new tool, huh? Just hang in there. Let me share my screen. Okay. My screen on your screen. Okay. Hamina is what we know. That's what we did for the last several sessions. Hey, we've done 19 sessions already. Can you imagine that? You believe it? Many of you have been in most of them. So in Hamina, here to the right, we have all the options when we're designing the walls and the edit and the nodes and the floors and all that stuff is in here. And every time you click something, then to the right is where the options for that something you have selected here. If you have a visualization like for align floors, then the building comes in here. Up on top, that's where you have the project, and then you have the floor plans, and then you can add more floor plans, and then you can hover over and rename, adjust. You can duplicate, you can delete maps, add new maps. We've been playing with this stuff. This is the navigation. Here is where you have, if it's simulation or if it's a survey or the live stuff that Jerry showed us, and then the sharing and all the stuff is in here. Now in SIDOS, this is how it's going to work. The global settings are on the upper right corner on that gear. We will go and navigate and use all of this stuff later, but here's where settings for visualization, the heat maps, if you want to see the AP names, the AP channels, the AP channel widths, if you want to change the signal prediction assessment, the distance, the guess range, all of that's going to be here, okay, upper right corner. The little man, that's where your account is. You see who's logged in. That's where you change units from feet to meters. Release notes, it will take you to the page with all the latest stuff that has been doing. If you want to give feedback, I think somebody asked me in Hamina if there was a site where you could give feedback, and I think it's not in here directly. Yes, right here it is actually. There used to be a site where you would go, but now here you just give feedback. This is like the wish list. I wish I had, and then the requests or the things that come up with more votes, I guess that's how they start working until like, oh man, if this many people are working, are requesting, import and export Hamina project as a file, then that's what I think how they define. But if you have a new one, just create a new suggestion on like a feature that you want. That's the same thing here. Let's see, go feedback, just type it right there and submit. And here's where you log out. This third button with the arrows, eyes on the screen. I don't know why it's there, but see, like here, these options, if I click these arrows, it collapses this left pane. Very conveniently located. Like, shouldn't this be like, I don't know, on top of this? I don't know. All of this stuff. Hang on. I will create more now.
Lots.
Okay. On this left pane is gonna have the different visualizations, and the visualizations are up here. So let me now show you. I just show you these three options in here. Now let's come to the very first options. If you go to the plus sign, see, you can create new survey or new deep survey or new AP on a stick, or a new site or a new building, because you can have multiple buildings. See, under sites, if I click on sites, that takes me back to my home page where all my projects are. So my new project, I can sort them out by all sites, my site share with me, and last open. Let's see, unnamed site. So let's name, see, this site. If I come over here, let's rename site, and let's say this is office building. So in this same project, I could have the warehouse and have the office as another building or as another project. I could just have multiple things under this this project, this site. So let's just call this office building. Notice that here, just hit enter. I have office building. Then inside there, I have this building, the Tesos English one, that I can rename, delete, or edit. Edit will take me back to that page where I set the scale. Sometimes you have to go back and reset the scale because they gave you a wrong number or they didn't give you anything. So you can come back here and reconfigure, come on, the height or reset the scale. Okay. Boom. So if I was wrong, then let's just do it again and save. And then I say done editing, brings me back here. So I have the site, the buildings, and in this case, this map. And then next to it, notice it has that little green pencil. If I click on it, it shows that that is a design. Right here is where I could add a task. Like when I want to do a survey on this site, then I'll create a new survey. We get to a survey portion later. Okay, but then I can add more tasks about this project, create another design. Okay, I can create another design. Maybe I do one design with Cisco APs, and then I do another task and another design with Ruckus APs. Then I can have multiple designs in there. Let me just give you an example. If I go to this place, this is a little tiny, small place in Canada. If I go to coverage, that's the place. If I measure from here all the way there, that's 420 meters long by 300 meters tall. So it's a big place that we were doing. And then I started with a design. See, back in 2025. There is another place where even back then when SIDOS was not very advanced in the design stuff, because they started with survey. They had the best, man, when it comes to surveys. But then in here, see, if I go to my project, and I switch to 3D, This is that same project that I had for the convention center, but this one is using SIDOS. See, big project too, kind of like the factory that we were looking at yesterday. There's just one huge big convention center. All the beams and all the stuff is in here. So I did the design. Then when I wanted to do a survey, notice all of the other designs and surveys that have been done within this project. So that's the latest survey. If I go to coverage, don't worry, we'll navigate and do all kind of stuff with this later. So this is the survey. So now if I like select that access point, just switch to 2D here, then it's just showing me the coverage of that access point, the coverage of this access point, and all of them under the same site. Go back to sites. Let me go back to my office building. So now with that, we've covered these first buttons.
This navigation SIDOS, even SIDOS admitted, isn't fully intuitive.
What's that?
This navigation and their setup, even Matt, I was talking to Matt the other day, even he says it's not intuitive, and he was watching my screen while I was doing some stuff, and he was making notes specifically every time I clicked on the wrong thing, because they're trying to work out how to make it more intuitive to the end user. So it's not clear at all. It's horribly confusing. There's a good logic behind it, but it's hard work.
It is very odd, and you're gonna see.
But it's worth it.
It is. But then as we end, again, all of those things, add them to the feedback, because yes, I've spent hours and hours with the developers myself doing a lot of stuff. And that's why a lot of these things will have my signature on it, because I asked for them. I need this. Why? Well, let me explain and show and explain again. It's like, oh, okay. And then they did it. So if I go to overview, right here is where I'm going to have my list of visualizations. Overview is usually what it dumps me. And right now, overview shows nothing because, I don't have anything in this project. But overview becomes really handy later, okay? Overview, notice that there is control 1. If I press control 1, it takes me to overview. If I go to details, it shows me details. Of course, right now it shows me nothing. This becomes easier later. If I want to go to coverage, then instead of clicking there, I can just do control 3. So it takes me to coverage. So these are the different visualizations. And notice they all have control 4, control T, control 5, control 6, control P, building, control 8, areas of interest, control 9. So one step at a time, this is navigation. And like if I click coverage, notice that to the right, I have 2, 4, 5, 6, the floor that I'm in. I only have one floor right now. SSIDs, I don't have any. This is a design. And then this is the area where we're going to be switching back and forth between coverage and interference and stuff. That's the equivalent in Hamina of coming down here to the edit, and then these arrows. That's when you can choose coverage, primary, secondary, tertiary, downlink, uplink, SNR, data rate, interference. This menu down here is this menu up there. Since I am in coverage, see, that's where the check is. Notice that I have the arrow. That's the equivalent to edit. When I click stuff, move stuff, then next to it is the access points. If I click on that access point, that circle, okay, doesn't look like an access point, but that's the access point sign symbol in SIDOS. Then here's the list of them. And I can, same thing, start typing. If I want to do, let's say, Cisco, and then all of the models that Cisco has come up. If I want to use the 9120, where's the 920? 920, it's in alphabetical order for Necomon, AXI, the internal ones. Then as soon as I select the model and the vendor, then now it shows me that antenna pattern. We looked at this briefly when we were doing Hamina and comparing and contrasting. And again, we're not comparing and contrasting to show you who's better, who's worse. No. That's not the purpose of this class. The purpose of this class is to teach you how they all do it. Some do it one way, some have the menu down here, or they have a menu up there. Some show the antenna patterns solid, colorful, others showing like this. And I like this better because what we discussed about the energy that bleeds on top or below an access point. So I think this is pretty clever. Then I can see where the access point is in relation to all of the energy that is radiating. I can move that guy around. I can look at my 2.4. I can look at my 5 gig, and it shows the direction on which the antenna is radiating energy. If I were to mount this on the wall or the floor, here's where I decide where the access points are going to be mounted. This access point is designed to be mounted in the ceiling, but if unfortunately you're in one of those places that they ask you to mount the APs on the floor, on the wall like a clock, then you can design it like that too. Okay, no account yet. Let's see, channel planner. I mean, I'm just checking the notes right now. I'm in the chat. Okay, so good. So down below, if I have that AP mounted on the ceiling, radio 1 and radio 2, because this AP is dual band, just 2, 4, and 5, doesn't have a 6 gig radio, I can specify what the power level is. And let me make sure, because there's always that question, is it EIRP or is it just the transmit power? Represents the conductive power of the radio transmitter. His map showed the total power radiated by one radio chain, the conductive power plus the antenna gain. So it's basically EIRP. Heat map coverage does not include potential MIMO gain. There may be an increase in coverage if both the client and the AP support multiple radio chains. Okay, just kind of like giving you some background on what we're going to see. And then you can just specify, if, let's say this is going to be at, no 6, Okay, I have to go slow, I guess. So if I'm going to do like 6 and let's say 12 on this guy, then I set the power. Now, if I hit my mouse button right now, I just dropped an access point. Next to the access point button, then there is the 2D or 3D option. That's how we change visualization. To navigate in here with the right click and move the mouse, I can do these movements with the left click, and I click and just move and the thing around. If I switch to 2D, I can zoom in with the trackpad, zoom out. There should also be, here we go, let me just resize this. See here at the bottom, it has a plus, a minus, or a fit to screen button. See, it just fills whatever I have on my screen. Let me resize this guy because I just had it zoomed in all the way. On the lower part, you see a scale, kind of like to get an idea of how big this is. And then to the lower right corner, you have the visualization of the colors where if you click on it, you can just move and slide these bars what you want your colors to be. If you're designing for NEC 67, then where it's NEC 67, it's green. When you want to set like the lower threshold, like if I want to see interference at NEC 82, and maybe I want to make this guy at NEC 62, okay, then you're just playing with colors. Again, green just means it's green. Doesn't mean anything. We're just matching a value in dBs to a color so we can visually identify this. Anybody colorblind in here that you don't see green, you see brown, or you see something else? Okay. You got to be conscious of that, because at one place I was showing the customer with these guys at a conference room. So like, yeah, see right here where it's green, the signal is good. The guy was just staring at it. And the guy next to him say, Ferney, you just chose the wrong person in the room to show him green because this son of a bitch is colorblind. He don't see green. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, I was so embarrassed. And like, how about, because if I come here to the settings, I can change this to use alternate colors. And then when you say like, can you see blue? Oh yeah, I can see blue and purple just fine. So now I can just say, yeah, where it's blue, then the signal is good. Where it's purple, the signal is not so good, kind of thing. This one is it. I don't know of any other colors in here. I guess that those are the only two. Hamina, let's see. I don't even know if we can change the colors in here. Do any of you know if we can change the color palette? Huh. Let me ask Jerry. Because that can become a problem in certain areas. All right. In Ekahau, there's like a whole bunch of colors you can change and adjust, and that's really cool. But it gets confusing because some people, they say, well, this is a heat map. Wherever it's, oh, hang on. Looks like. Hang on, Jerry's answering. Yeah, something so basic that we didn't address in the class. We'll figure it out. So some people in Ekahau like to change those colors to red. And I think somebody in LinkedIn was posting earlier this week about the color palette. Like some guys use blue, some other use purple, some other use different colors. You can make, oh, was it Kevin? Kevin Franzen, right? He was posting about it. Because that can become an issue. Oh yeah, so there's not there's not that in Hamina. Okay. There's a user request. I'm surprised that nobody's addressed that because I've had that issue in a couple of instances. But then in SIDOS, you can use alternate colors, and then at least it just switches because sometimes all you need to show is that blue is good, purple is not. And then you can adjust the tones of it to make it more obvious where the signal is weak or the signal is strong. Okay. So let me switch back to my regular colors. And that's it. The color means nothing. The color is just a representation of a value. And here's where you adjust those values. Okay. Next to this 2D, 3D buttons. Okay. There is a hexagon and a little SIDOS Wave looking icon. This is what this means. If I am on this hexagon, notice that everything in here is a whole bunch of hexagons. If I click, let me just click the edit, and let's say I click this hexagon. Let me zoom out of this guy. I know I start playing zoom in, zoom out. When I click on that hexagon, it just does the signal prediction on that. It kind of doesn't look so smooth, but that they actually call these bins. That's a bin. So the programmers, the developers, use this as the places where you're doing math. And I don't know, I think Mika, the CEO, explained to me once why hexagons and what that meant. I forgot. It's like, who cares? In their mind, it makes sense what they're doing. But for us, it's just like, I like the next one better. See that button right there? If I click on it, it kind of like smooths the edges. See, it softens the edges, and I don't have those square box Minecraft looking heat map on the screen. I have more of a smooth of the edges of the signal prediction. So that's the hexagon. This is the, I don't even know what this is called. Okay. I have an access point. I haven't drawn any walls. I'm just showing you the navigation. Okay. Showing you the interface around. Who is using SIDOS for the first time now? Anybody? Okay. So we're going baby steps. Just bear with me. We're learning where things are. Okay. And some things.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Why does it use channel 32 in 5 gigahertz?
Channel what? Oh, 32. Good question. As a matter of fact, let me show you this. There's channel 68. There's also channel 96.
Oh.
Have you noticed that? And
Not
here, channel 169, 173, and 177. Ah! Okay, let me tell you why. Happens that we in Europe, we in America, don't use channel 32 or 96 or 68. But other countries, other regulatory domains do. Is it, where is Simon? Isn't it in Australia or New Zealand or I don't know, somebody on that side of the world? I think in APAC, somewhere in Asia, the channels, let me just move over here. Let me zoom out of this guy. Let me bring this guy over here. I think it's channel 32, and those ones are used in those regulatory domains. Somebody look it up. Guillermo, you're my chat GPT.
Australia is starts from 36.
Okay. These channels in here, 169, 173, and 167, that's Uni 4. Here in the US, we got Uni 4 authorized years ago. See right there? The problem is that some vendors, they say like, well, you know, yes, we got Uni 4. Ooh, big deal. We got 3 channels. But we already have 6 gig. With 6 gig, we have 59 channels. So why bother adding 3 channels to our firmware and our stuff? If now, I don't know, they probably had to do a lot of testing and maybe we just flipping a switch in the software. I don't know, but those channels are available. Some access points have Uni 4 enabled, but the problem is clients. I don't know if the clients will do Uni 4. They might not. So yeah, you can have an access point there in channel 173 and nobody's going to connect to it. Maybe another AP, maybe for a point-to-point or a mesh link. I don't know. But those are channels that exist here in the US, but not in every regulatory domain. Same with those channel 32. Anybody found out what channel 32, what regulatory domain uses it?
ChatGPT says none, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I could be wrong, German, but I'm never wrong. Except when I'm wrong, which is most of the time. So don't take my word for it. Okay. All right. Simon, what you got?
So is there a way, do you specify I mean, as now you're talking about channels, or do you need to specify your country, or regulatory domain in the design or the survey for SIDOS?
Oh, good question. Okay, let's see if I remember. Let me add this other, let me just add to the access point visualization, show the access point identifier, the channel, and the channel width. So if we have this access point, we are in coverage. Let me add a couple other access points. Notice that now that I have more access points, okay, And let me just place them like in any order. Of course, that's not how I would do the design. But notice, and this is one thing that I think, I don't know if I requested, but see, as I zoom in to see the bigger numbers, everything becomes smaller. It's like Google Maps. Like you see an address and I don't have my glasses on, and then I zoom in to see it bigger, and then the things become small, like stay big. So what I have to do sometimes is this. And the thing is that I can zoom in, but I realize, I learned after doing it over and over, that I see it big in my screen, but you still see it small on yours. So let me just take a screenshot of this. And if I come over here, come on. Desktop, there we go. So notice that it kind of like similar to what Hamina does, it starts setting up the channels automatically. Like the first API placed, put it on channel 32, which we don't use, German. The next AP, AP-A1, channel 36. The next AP, channel 40. So what do you notice? And then channel 44 and 48 and 52. It is placing them adjacent in that order. Okay. Like 36, whatever. Well, that's not how we design. So now if I go back, watch, if I go back from coverage to overview. Now in overview, I have some data, like I have 7 radios in 2.4, I have 7 radios in 5 gig, see? And then it says what channels I'm using in 5 gig and what channels I'm using in 2.4. So if I go to configure, here is where I pick and choose what channels to use. If you're in Europe and you're the 1, 5, 9, and 13 type of guy, then you can come and choose those. If you're in Japan, then you choose 14, and then you will let the software do this. Let me hit save, and then if I go to 5 gig, then here is, my dear German, where I would unselect the ones that in my regulatory domain don't work. I don't think there is a place where you can just say, this is regulatory domain Europe, and then boom, automatically disable whatever doesn't work there. Or this is regulatory domain Australia, and then boom, goes and disables whatever channels don't work there. Or is there?
Isn't, but I think there is that's a good feature request.
Yes, absolutely. Now you know what the feedback button is. So here, I don't need channel 68.
You didn't.
What's that?
Yeah, no, you don't need to. I thought you clicked the wrong one, that was all.
Okay, according to ChatGPT, India uses channel 32 in some regulatory implementations. Okay. German, in many menus in SIDOS, you get the channel map in the button when you click somewhere in the map. Yes, if I... And that's what we showed down here when we asked about channel 32. That's the where you see the towers, and that is really useful. And guess who asked for it? Because I wanted to see that everywhere, to see the channels and the stuff, and also the PSAs. We'll get to it. Channel 96, that's not something I care about in this regulatory domain. Maybe 169, I don't care. Maybe channel, what else? Uni4. I'll disable those and save it. Okay. Now, if I say run channel planner, it runs the channel planner, and then I'll have to go back to coverage to see if it changes. Oh man, this is so small. Okay, who's making a list of requests? Because as we go and we say like, hey, this doesn't have X, who's going to take care of that here today? Jono, thanks for volunteering, man. I love volunteers. Okay, Jono, you're it. What was the first feature request? Regulatory domain. Second, I want to be able to make, oh, you know what? I think actually there is a way to make these icons bigger. Hang on. If I come over here, object opacity, wall opacity, access point size. Oh, well, it gives me like just a little bit bigger or even very small. I don't want it small, I want it bigger. Well, that helps a little bit, I guess. I guess make the access point bigger, increase that from 1.1, seriously?
So you can increase the pictogram, but not the font, right?
Let's see, if I make this, okay, hang on. No, it doesn't. So what is it?
That you are able to change the size of the pictogram, but not from the font, or...
Oh, yeah. Oh, the font stays the same? Let's see. No, I think the font and the icon move back, but let's add a feature request to give us, I don't know, 2x. Sometimes we just need to see that. So, I mean, this lighter bar is kind of useless. Well, I mean, it helps, but we can make it bigger, okay? So let's see what else we have here. Overlay heat map. The overlay heat map is like a transparency button that makes actually in survey, this is gonna be really useful because here's what happens. If you don't have this selected, the map kind of like comes to the forefront and the signal prediction, the colors kind of like go in the background. Once you hit the overlay heat map, notice that the map is not as vibrant and as strong as before. So when you're doing a survey, sometimes the survey doesn't show much. When you hit that button, then now the survey shows on top of the map stronger, okay? Use gradient heat map. I have no idea. Oh, yeah, looks like, see, if you look the colors here, if I don't have that selected, this is just a solid yellow. Gradient kind of like goes from yellow to orange. Use alternate colors. We already saw that. It goes from purple to green or green to blue. Let me just click this guy, the edit. So that's the alternate colors is this, okay? It changes from the traditional green, yellow to purple and blue. High contrast route, this would be for surveys. We'll get to that later. Show object color. Once we start drawing walls and attenuation areas, this is where we change that. Show walls in surveys and APs on a stick. I usually don't like this, but we'll talk about it when we get to surveys later. Show walls in design. Duh, of course, we want to see them, especially now that we haven't started. But once you draw them, remember, once you draw them and they're there, they kind of get on your way. It's like once you do the design, you don't need to see the walls all the time. So here is where you come and disable the walls. And survey nodes, we'll get to surveys. Object opacity, wall opacity, we'll get to that when we start drawing. All of these are configurations for the project. Here, the access point is where I see either the name of the access point or not, or show the channel or not, or show the channel width or not, okay? We already saw this guy. And show full filter bar. Well, which one's this one? I think that's when you have something selected. Let me see. If I unselect this guy. Oh, I wonder what that does. What is it changing? Nothing. I don't know what that does. Show access point list. That's this pane here. And show color scale. That would be the guy down here at the bottom. Okay. Let me come over here. I just drew some access points. I just placed some access points in there. Wait, didn't I run the channel planner? Oh, yeah, it did. It got rid of 32 and kind of like still placed APs in different channels. But look, they're like adjacent, 36, 40. Let's run the channel planner again. If we go to overview and run channel planner and come back over here to coverage. They're still there. So as you can see, this channel planner is not like, you know, super like it's gonna spread everything apart so they're not interfering with each other. It's there. It's not, it probably needs tuning. It needs work. Okay, so far we have just looked at what the creation of a site and multiple buildings and the floor plans in here is. We have looked at the tasks where you can create designs and surveys in the same project. Then the next drop down, tools. Oh, wait, hang on. What was the option here for tools? Oh no, the filter bar visibility. What's the filter bar? Filter bar. Where is the filter bar? Yeah, Jonas, as you were saying, you know, this thing is not very intuitive, huh?
Do we need to get Matt to join us for one of these?
Yeah, one of these days we'll have. I think he's on leave now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's not like this guy, not like Jerry. That Jerry on Sunday and whenever we need him, he will just jump right there. But they're pretty good. Like Constantine, he's always there, man. He's one of those guys that you come Sunday or holidays or anytime, he's gonna answer the phone and reply and help. All of them are, you know, they're really helpful. So no complaints on that side. Then there is the edit. See, on edit is when if I want to move this AP, then that's what I would do. The circle here shows up because I'm under coverage. Watch, if I go to overview, these other buttons go away. Now I have different options here and in there. If I go to details, I have other filters and I have details on the access point. This is extremely useful when we're doing the survey part. After details, coverage, then now we have different options. If we go to secondary signal, if we go to tertiary signal, if we go to interference, notice that I would have different. Now it all looks good, but if I go to 2.4, not so good. Why? Because there is interference. This is actually really cool when you're doing surveys, more so, because if I click on an access point, it highlights what other access point is on the same channel with this guy. Okay, that's extremely useful because, well, I just place more access point in here. Coverage. Let's go to access points and let's just click, 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 and let's just, you know, saturate this. 1 AP per classroom, 1 AP per room. See, a dream of every salesperson. There we go. I just gave you a bigger bonus, Tom. Look at that. So now if I switch to interference and click, let's say here, it shows the how do you call this area? The spectrum view or the, well, you see a tower, okay? If I click on one access point, it highlights and it hides pretty much everything else and only shows me the APs are on the same channel as this guy. That's really cool. That's really helpful. Okay. Because if I look at interference on other software, like, I don't know, let's see here. If I'm on the interference visualization, then let's say I select this AP, I think it highlights, it puts a shadow. See over here? Puts a shadow on the other APs on the same channel. Is that right? 1 and 1. If I select this guy or if I select that, but it only shows me like 2, and I know I have more than 2 APs here on the same channel. Well, 4. I don't know. I like this visualization better. It's easier on my eyes, especially when you have areas that are really congested. And this is nothing, guys. And design is like, who cares? In survey, when you're doing a survey and then you want to see, let me just show you right now. Why not? Here, let's go and look at this guy. Watch this. If I go over to interference, let me unselect this. Oh, I've got to change the SSID. Let's change the SSID to. Oh, it's slowing down. It's a big project. Hang on 1 second. Refresh. Okay, so if I select this guy, it shows me what other APs are on the same channel as this guy. Watch this. If I like hover over, I'm not clicking, hover over one of those other APs on the same channel where it gets really dark red, it shows me where those 2 APs meet. Like the signals. If I click on this guy, on that guy, on this guy, how about that guy far away? It's like less. There's less interference between those two. But as I get closer, it's really strong because, yeah, these guys kind of like see each other. Now, see that white guy over there? And that white guy over there? These white guys are not in my network. The SSID that I have over here is, let me just select this guy. See that guy? Is this Summit Wi-Fi. See? Summit Wi-Fi is the SSID. This guy, on the right, you're going to see that it's announcing the synapse or synapse, whatever that is. It's another AP. So the white ones are not my APs. Who's this guy? Hidden. It's a hidden one, a D-Link access point. So these are on the same channel, causing interference, but they're not mine. These black and red, those are my APs on the same channel. So I think this is extremely useful and helpful when we're troubleshooting. Like there's interference and yeah, you put the mouse right there. It's like, yeah, it's red, but who's interfering with who? Well, if I just click one guy, then it's going to show you who's interfering with this. That's really useful in my mind. So let me go back to sites and let's look at the office building. We were looking at interference. Okay. We now, if we look at SNR, I don't know, SNR is one of those visualizations that I don't use, kind of like a thing. The report, we'll talk about reports later. This is where you would create the reports and then build them. Here's where we would draw the walls. And up here you have walls, objects, floors, slopes, windows, and doors. That's it. Pretty simple. If I go to walls, I am on walls. We are almost towards the end of this session, but today was an introduction anyway. Okay, get the account set up, kind of like get the interface, get familiar with it, navigate it through, play with it. If I am on walls, there is not auto draw. See, I spoil you with Hamina, man. We all got spoiled on that first round because you bring in the map and like, boom, it draws walls and windows and doors and everything for you. And we were done like in the first 5 minutes, like, okay, that's it. Everything's drawn. Not here. Here we do have to manually come and draw stuff. I know they're doing some stuff with AI and things. They're working on it. And I'm sure once they catch up, it's going to be as good as their survey product, which is awesome. So one thing I like, see the cross arrows? It helps a lot when I'm doing like warehouses and stuff, because if I'm drawing something here, the line shows me that the other things are lined up or not. Then I can just, have a reference. This is this crosshair stuff. If I am selected, all I have is the mouse. So I like to have that on. If there is a beta for AI. Oh, never mind. Okay. Yeah. There we go. That's new. I hadn't used this in a while. If I go to AI detect, it hasn't, but that's it. I cannot go choose like this is brick, that's drywall. It just brings, let's approve walls. What is it going to bring? Brick, I guess. Oh, well, that's a start.
It reminds me of the beta, like when Ekahau started the beta for AI detect.
Yeah, it was kind of very similar to that. Well, this is something. If I want to, if I want to like select something and delete that wall, I would have to switch back to my draw. See, I'm in walls and draw. Then in here, if I click on it, let me see, come on. If I right click on it, if I right click on that segment, it shows me the height which is the height that we set at the beginning on the map, that everything goes to that height, okay? And you cannot go any higher. Offset, this will be the top of the wall. The offset will be the lower part of the wall. Right now it's set to 0, so it goes from the ground up. See? It goes from the ground up. If I change the offset, come on, let's make it 1 meter. There, 1 meter. What's it doing? Let me go to 2D and let's see if. How about if I do 0.5? What is this doing? Not liking it, huh?
It might be not going higher than the ceiling. That it takes the height and that the offset and the height together can't be higher than the ceiling.
Oh, yes. No. Because offset, it will just subtract. This is just like the top is not higher than 2.4, but then the bottom should just change and be higher. But there's some bug right here. Let me just, so I have the height and the offset. Now, this offset is not the offset of the client. I know we always talk about the offset of the client, how this is not that offset, okay? Height of space between floor and wall, yeah. Here, let me refresh. Sometimes, and this happens in Hamina too, sometimes if something's like working funny, you just refresh. Let's see if this helps us in any way. Let me go to wall. Let me select this guy. And I think there's something funny with this thing. 0.5 meters. Well, let's try that in objects, because objects, so let's just basically work on walls, okay? Let me, oh, you know why? I think I know what it is. I don't think this has a material assigned to it. Let me add, I don't know, drywall. And now if we have drywall, let's see if it lets us do anything with this. 0.5. No, that was not it. Okay. Now, I use the AI to just like draw all these walls, but now the problem is if I want to change it, let's say if I select, I right click to select this guy, I'm holding my shift key, and now I can, let's say right click, maybe it's command, maybe it is control, hang on. Right click to select this wall, control, yeah, with control, I can select multiple ones. Now that I have those 4 walls selected, or 5, it says right here, I can either delete them or I can change the height. Let's see if I can change them to 2.3, 2.2, 2.2 meters. Then I wonder, okay, in this case, oh, but this is wrong, Glenn, because you are right on that it adds the 2 and it says that, you know, that's 2.4, but the top is not changing. I should be able to say, you know, the offset is 1 meter or 1.5, because what if it's just a small area suspended up in the ceiling? I've used this before. That's how I build all those trusses in the air.
Yeah, it depends on how they define it. In AI, in Ekahau AI Pro, it's like you say, you have the top and you define the bottom. But they also changed that in the online version, where you just say this is the height where it starts, and then from there it goes this high up.
Yeah.
You don't do that every day. So each time you do it wrong the first time, because you're so used of thinking the height from the bottom up and the height, say the highest part. And now suddenly it's from here and you add that size to it.
Yeah. So, but they do have to clarify this, make it like, okay. Yeah. Now, let's say this is a divider wall cinder block. If I change the material to cinder block, let me just click outside of that area, then now this is cinder block. If I go to 3D, there it is. Okay. The drawing of walls, let me just of course, that's not a wall. Let me delete it. I have to go to 2D. And if I right click and just press the delete key, backspace, delete didn't work, backspace, removed it. Also, I can just right click on this guy and hit the delete wall. If I want to draw a wall, let's say I want to draw a wall around this guy. So to draw the wall, I'm on the building menu, Control 8. I'm on walls, and right below it says draw. And then I have the list of materials. Very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's no, oh, there's 5 in there. No 6. But then I know the Hamina's got a richer list of materials, and you can create your own. You can create your own here too. But then some people don't even bother with that. Just say, they create materials like wall 1, wall 2, and then is 1 dB, 2 dB, 3 dB. The name and the color is just for us, the humans, to say like, oh, that's a glass. Oh, that's a door. Oh, and then we add colors to identify things. The software doesn't care what you call it or what color you give it. The software just looks at the dB attenuation. Like, what's the attenuation index of this material? Is it a 1 dB or a 2 dB material? You cannot define in here. Let me see if I can edit. No, you cannot define like the thickness of it. If I, let's say, want to draw a wall then around here, the stairs, let's say I'm going to choose the material. Let's say that's going to be elevator shaft. Okay. Because the elevator shaft is here, but I'm going to just draw it here. Then if I click and click and click, right click, I finish that segment. Let me just come out here where there's nothing and then just show you a couple things. If I want to draw, click, notice there's that 45-degree jump. If I need to come like here in between, then I would hold the control key. I'm on the on a Mac. I don't know if in Windows is the same, but if I hold the control key, it releases that 45-degree jump, and then I can be more precise on where click I want to drop those walls, which this one I've used before. Hey, remember that factory I showed you yesterday and all the silos with the big cylinder looking obstacles? That's how I drew these guys, because there's not a way to draw a circle or a specific area. So I just draw something like this. See, oh, let me just control and click and right click to end it. And if I go to 3D, that's how I drew those cylinders. Walid. Hey, how do you say your name? Walid or Walid?
Walid.
Walid. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, do I have the option to duplicate the walls like in Hamina and edit it as I? Okay.
Oh, like duplicate the material?
Oh yeah.
You can add one, but
okay,
as you can see, it's not very rich of like changing transparent. I mean, the contrast is abysmal. See, if you come here and then you have, I don't know, a wall, and you go to settings, these are all of the settings that you have for just one wall. In SIDOS, it's simpler. We have to keep one thing in mind. When things in Ekahau kind of like went south and some people left and started Hamina, and some other guys from Ekahau left and formed SIDOS. Some guys dedicated themselves to, like the Hamina guys, they started working heavily on design, on 3D, on cloud, on all these visualizations, and design was their thing. That's why they took him for, I don't know, like 2 years before they even had a survey device. And it was not even theirs. The first device they used is the Osium Nomad, which is not a Hamina device. It's another company that built it for them. They teamed up and they built it. So that's why Hamina is awesome. Number one when it comes to design. They spend years training models, training guys, taking customers' requests and making it so cool. The SIDOS guys, they also came from Ekahau. They left, and the CEO, he's an engineer. He's a hardware guy. Okay, I mean that's software too, but he's a hardware guy, and he said, you know, I'm gonna design a really cool Wi-Fi measuring device. And they started working really heavily on the survey side of things. That's why they have a better device. The SIDOS Wave, where's my wave? I have a wave here somewhere. This SIDOS Wave device is spectacular. It has a screen, a touch screen with a whole bunch of micro apps, okay, that you can do. It has an Ethernet port. I can just go test stuff, plug in an Ethernet port. Here, let's see if this gives me stuff. There is the Ethernet tester. As that guy wakes up, let me actually share my screen again. And let me share my phone. PoE detected, pass, link pass, switch info pass, DHCP pass, DNS pass, gateway pass, internet. Hang in there. Come on, Jono, be patient. Pass. Blink LED, start test. And if I touch, let's see. Oh, no. Oh, do I touch or do I slide? Yeah. If I swipe to the left, now it gives me information. PoE detected. Link, status pass, link up is a 1000 megabit per second, duplex full, twisted pair, advertised speeds, 10, 100, 1000. If I scroll up, switch info. That's the name of the switch. Port doesn't have that information. I have the MAC address where I'm connected. Cab router is a ubiquity stuff. Status, it gives me the IP address I obtained. Server, my DHCP server. The subnet mask. Status pass, has my server IP, my gateway. Passes, there's the IP address, send 3 packets, receive 3 packets. Internet pass, went to Google, gets me the IP address and sends 3 pings. All in the same tool. I don't need a phone. I don't need a tablet. I don't need an account. I don't need to log in. I just use the tool. I can also use the AP tracker. See, I can do the surveys. There's the deep survey. I haven't done that one. I'm going to have to learn it with you guys. AP tracker I used in that convention center. This is what I use to track stuff. I can find the SSID I want. For instance, if I want to find out where that home 5 at NEC 29 is, I get on it, and now I am listening to that guy only. So I can see how fast this signal is changing and then getting closer to it, but it gets stronger. See, I'm on NEC 20, NEC 21, NEC 24, or as I go away, it starts getting weaker. See, not for much because it's so loud in here. So this AP tracker helps a lot because I know in what channel, the frequency, and then I start identifying things. There are other things. There are many other things that can be done. Let me just swipe, get to the menu. There's a mesh. There's a packet capture that I use quite a bit because I can just go there and start selecting, like I want to do, this guy has 3 NICs. So I can go to channel 1 and then here on channel 48, and then in 6 gigahertz, let's say I want to go to channel, well, not 9, let's do channel 5. Then if I go to capture and start packet capture, it is now capturing on all of those 3 channels at the same time. Again, I don't need a phone, I don't need a tablet, I don't need a computer, just like the device itself has use.
Yeah, it's very handful actually, like for on-site, like if you are doing, like if you are on site and doing access point on stick on site one.
Let me stop that guy. Then yeah, we'll have to interface in here and get it. But yeah, being on site with this stuff, it helps a lot. Okay. Yeah. So let me stop sharing right here. And I think we're getting to the end of this session, but here's what I want to share with you guys. Today was just an intro, okay? And some of you may already see that maybe it's not very promising for the design. I mean, it works. I mean, I show you what the designs I've done with it because I've done the warehouse space, that huge area, and also that factory that I showed you yesterday. That's massive. It is possible. It works. It's not as sleek and easy and good looking as a Hamina. Yeah, that's no secret. But don't like discourage yourself like, oh, I'll see. They started working on the survey stuff since the beginning. This is the best device that you could have in your toolbox. And the software, when you do a survey looking at the data, SIDOS is my #1 go-to tool to do surveys and get data because it shows me so much more. So let's give these guys a break in the design stuff. We're going to work through it, okay? We're going to do designs. The rest of the classes, the sessions that we're going to have, the coming ones, are going to be on SIDOS. We'll make sure everybody's got an account. They've been really helpful. They provided accounts. I know some of you couldn't get it work. Tomorrow, we'll have it all figured out, and we'll continue designing. It's a little bit slower and can be painful at times because they've put all the time and effort in the survey side of things. They have the best device, and the interface is, I think, the most complete interface that I have when doing surveys. Okay, so with that, let me just make sure I have. Yeah, for design, I agree, and I told that since the beginning. Hamina's #1 for design in my mind. Jono left. Bye, Jono. We'll see you tomorrow. Ned also, let's see, AI detect. Oh, Glenn, you don't have AI detect on your, when you logged in? I wonder if that, did anybody have the AI detect thing? Or is that something that was probably enabled on my account?
I think there are some, we're not seeing the draw and the AI detect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matias, yeah. How do I? Oh yeah, there's no AI detect in there. I'm just looking through the chat. Yeah, German, like the AirCheck G2, that's an awesome device because with the cabling stuff, there's no match. I have the AirCheck, the G3, we'll get to that one later also because we will use that for scanning. The AirChecks are great. And the link runners, they specialize. But then this one is a Wi-Fi tool that also has an Ethernet port. As you go around, sometimes you have the cable where they're going to plug in stuff, plug it in and see what IP address you get, see what subnet you're in. And all that stuff will help you and make your life easier. PoE won't tell you which type of PoE. It tells you it has PoE. I don't think it tells you if it's AF or BT or whatever it is. The Psychic 2, yes, if it works. I have a Psychic 2 that it didn't start, gives me a pink light. Then, too bad. Let's see. I don't see draw tag, approve, question, valid, actually. Wallet, yeah. That's quite a design. Let me just, yeah, that's a pretty cool. Here, let me share my screen. We're almost done, guys. Here, let me download this image. It's okay. Downloads. Let me save this guy. Let me save this guy. Downloads. Okay. How do you get a license, Larry? I'll get you one. I'll have one for tomorrow for everybody. Let me just open these two files that Walid sent. That's one. That's the other one. Yeah, Hamina just makes it. That's just. I mean, what do you say? It's spectacular. You show this to customers, and it's easier to explain, easy to understand, easy to visualize. You have a lot of time on your hands, Walid. You're playing. It's like a kid in Christmas time.
I was playing on it and trying like to make sure I understand it correctly. So, and it was fun.
Yeah, and that's how we learn, just playing. You know? Mark asked about the SIDOS. You buy a subscription, they send you a device. You don't have to buy the device. They just send you one because that's a SaaS. Yeah, your license expires, then you ship it back. I don't know if they're going to have options to sell it in the future because that's the only device of all these companies that is useful without anything else, without a license. You can just ship it to somebody and have them do stuff. Once we get to the deep survey stuff, I think that's really cool. I just don't know how to do it. We're all going to learn here in this class how to use deep survey. We'll get Matt and Constantine. We'll invite him over, same as Jerry came. I know Constantine is going to come and help us, and we all are going to learn. So with this, my friends, we get to the end of session 373 of Tesos and Wi-Fi. Today, we started with kind of like answering a question about Hamina on how to create buildings when you have like one floor plan that is really big and the next floor plan is only a portion of it. Like in the warehouse, you have the whole warehouse for one big plan, and then there's just the offices on this little place. And we covered that at the beginning, so maybe you want to skip to that and do it. But you just basically stretch out. You just get the small portion, and then stretch out the overlay of the second floor where it matches the first floor. And once you go to 3D, there it is. It just creates that and places it right there. Then we jumped into SIDOS. We had just an introduction today about the interface. How is it that we're going to be using it, and how we navigate it, where the options are, the different places where we can find and configure the visualization of the tool. Yes, it's not as slick and smooth as Hamina. We're going to get to attenuation objects. We can draw doors and windows, and then there's some really cool concepts about the floors. I'll show you that too. And then they also have the slope areas. We'll figure out how to draw then the stairs. We'll draw the stairs. And yeah, we can do really cool things with it. It's just that there's manual work involved, but it's possible, okay? It's really cool because we can also do a lot of these things and navigate it. They have the 3D stuff. And this is some of the sites that we've done. One was that plant that we showed yesterday, which all of this stuff. Oh, I'm on the survey, AP on a stick. Let's go to the design. This is some of the stuff that we can create with SIDOS. I mean, the fact that it's not as slick doesn't mean that it cannot be done. You know, we can just get a lot of things accomplished with SIDOS. There's lots that we can do, okay? Lots and lots that we can do. It just takes time, but it is possible. We're going to be covering the rest of the week more of this SIDOS stuff, learning how to navigate, how to draw stuff, how to design attenuation areas and columns, and how to draw things throughout. So with this, my friends, this is the end of this session. Thank you very much for coming. We'll have licenses for you tomorrow. Remember, free love for everybody and free Wi-Fi training for everyone. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ferney.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Renee.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Tomorrow we'll have more SIDOS. Let's learn SIDOS. That's my favorite survey tool, man. Hopefully they will catch up with the design stuff, but let me tell you, it would be nice if you, wouldn't this be perfect to have a company that has like the Hamina design and the SIDOS survey and all the cool stuff they're all doing? But oh well, this is what we got. The best thing is we're learning about all of them here in this class. For free. Have a beautiful day, man. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.